Welcome to my weekly spiel. Welcome to my weekly spiel. Yada yada blah blah blah. Yada yada blah blah blah. It's time for Margaret's weekly spiel. Greetings and salutations. This is Margaret Franklin of Margaret Franklin Creations with today's weekly spiel. I know I've said this before, and I've never really followed through with it or completed it, but I've always wanted to write a book. Mostly like a book about my life and my experiences. I know for years I've wanted to write, I even asked Jeanette if she'd want to co-write it with me, but I wanted to write a book about our lives and since we've been best friends since college, and we're both on the autism spectrum, and I wanted to write a book addressing the concerns about a demographic that has been previously not quite getting the recognition it deserves, but seniors on the autism spectrum. Because we're not getting any younger. We both, she turned 61 this year. I turned 61 in July. I don't feel it, but looking at my recent photos, I feel like I'm starting to look my age. But we're not getting any younger, and a lot of the programs addressed to people on the autism spectrum are either for children or young adults, where we kind of feel like they still kind of treat us like kids. Like, I don't know, we get talked down to and misunderstood and reprimanded when we should be understood, and that sort of thing. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, we didn't even find out we had Asperger's syndrome until we were 40. Like, we've always had it, we just never knew why we were different until then. And it explains why we experience the world around us in high definition. Like, everything is louder or brighter or more painful than it would be to anyone else who otherwise wouldn't notice. I hope that's a good explanation. But I'm thinking that if I do write a book, I want to write it about the stories behind my tattoos and a brief history. I've been doing some research, and I googled and looked into Lyle Tuttle. He is the virtuoso of the needles who created Paul Stanley's iconic rose on his right shoulder. He has also done tattoos for Cher, Janis Joplin, and a few others. And he passed away a few years ago, and before he retired, he would be tattooing his autograph on people. But he was the father of modern tattoos as we know it. And the tattoos go back thousands of years. The first ones were discovered on somebody known as the Iceman, who died over 5,000 years ago. And there is a tattoo of a woman from 2,000 years ago with she has a beautiful deer on her back, and a lot of, I guess it goes back to a lot of tribal groups, like in Polynesia, Micronesia, and all those other Nesias, and Aboriginal peoples who have long since, before any recorded time, have created scars and rubbed various types of pigments into the skin one way or another. I remember a story about an Inuit woman who wanted to get a traditional tattoo of her people, because it was a test to see how they endured the pain of childbirth. These facial tattoos were like a heart that goes around your face like this, and with a dot here and here. Seems pretty unobtrusive. I don't know I know that, what's her name? Kat from Miami Inc. She started in Miami. L.A. Inc., that's the name of her show. She had a nice little sprinkling of stars right here. Sometimes I think I would like to get a cute little curly acanthus motif. I now have 13 tattoos. Tattoos were often equated with warriors. I feel like I'm something of a warrior myself, of all the things I've survived. Tattoos are pain is a relative concept. Going back to my talk about the Iceman, a lot of his tattoos were on his joints and places where people get arthritis. And back then they were viewed as a form of healing, like acupuncture, which explains why I find a lot of my tattoos actually feel kind of nice when I'm getting them, unless they hurt like the elephant did. They all have meanings, and every chapter in my book will start with a picture of my tattoo and the backstory about it and things going on in my life at the time. And I think I've done a previous post telling you some of the stories behind them. There was a guy on Speaker's Corner several years ago who said that a tattoo on a woman was like dog crap on a rainbow. So that's got me thinking about, well, it coincides with what the ancient Maori people actually, they actually use dog poop in their tattoos. You'd think that they'd get a terrible infection, that someone would die from that. Okay, no, I'd pass on that. Give me ink anytime. No other foreign substances. And that the electric tattoo machine actually originates from Thomas Edison's autograph machine, as he called it. It was an electric device that would go brrrr on a piece of paper, creating a series of tiny dots. So you could put that piece of paper on top of another and use charcoal to make, like, this is a predecessor of photocopying and carbon paper and that sort of thing. Like, you could duplicate pictures by having an image with a bunch of tiny holes in it. And they modified that thing to go into people's skin. And I'm sure a lot of people who have so-called tattoos got them by accident. If you, like, kids stab himself with a lead pencil and end up with a permanent little dot. My friend Lorraine has a little dot or two from when she had her cancer treatments. They had to make little dots for where the needle was supposed to go. I can think of a lot more things more painful than tattoos. My Bartholin cyst, biopsies, my first pap smear. Oh, I swear that son of a bitch used a branding iron on me. It's a wonder I can still walk after that. I know when I finally had them done by more competent doctors, I would ask, do you see any pentagrams or swastikas in there? At least I can laugh about it now, but still the sight of a metal one is kind of a trigger for me. And anything to do with, like, hot metal, it makes me think of that horrible incident at which the doctor tried to cover his ass by convincing me I was crazy and sending me to a psychiatrist who prescribed pills that nearly killed me. I am here. I have survived that ordeal. I'd like to get a tattoo. Like, you've probably seen the the symbol for mental health is a semicolon, and it means my story isn't finished yet. Because here I am autistic, and I also have bipolar, and I was drawing this on the back of an envelope. This is a ladybug. It's a semicolon, a ladybug on top with the colon part being the what do you call those things? The autism puzzle pieces. A lot of autistic people hate the puzzle pieces because they think it objectifies them. I'm okay with the puzzle piece because I visualized it before I saw that idea or concept. For me, it meant my life had always been a puzzle, but I had just found a bunch of pieces that didn't fit together before. Like, I had unlocked a huge piece of the puzzle. Like, I'd solved a huge, like, I had a logical explanation. Anyway, tonight's Quilters Guild meeting they've had an issue with the venue, so they're just doing it virtually. I don't like virtual meetings. My show and share always gets lost. This is how far I've come on my Hujigawatsit for Fiddly-Doo, the Carol's Lighthouse project. Hopefully by the end of today, I will have all this grass and sand and shells finished. I did a shell on today's Stitch Journal entry, and yesterday's icon was the donkey in the Kicking Horse coffee commercial, riding a motorcycle. I love that commercial. Humble little donkey, he's comparing himself to all these beautiful horses, goes into the barn, the chicken's clucking at him mockingly, and then all of a sudden there's meow. He comes screaming out on this motorcycle. Oh, it is so brilliantly done. It's amazing what they can do with CGI and artificial intelligence animation these days. Sometimes I think I'd like to be an animator. I did a claymation movie back when I was 18. I took a filmmaking course for summer school. That was a fun experience. I didn't necessarily need the extra credit, but I took it for fun, as did a lot of people in my class. And I might, if I can dig it up, Richard put it on YouTube for me years ago. I'm very thankful for the legacy he has left in my life that I can pass on, and he continues to live through my Rapid Tea Rabbit quilts and his videos of his show. Our friendship was a major catalyst, major stepping stone in my life. Anyway, I'm going off on another tangent here. I will post you the link for Poltergurken, as it was called, a claymation movie about two frogs fighting over a pickle. Anyway, how many more minutes are left here? I've been talking for 11 minutes, so I shall shut up now. Bye-bye. Be back soon. Thanks for watching Weekly Spiel.